Hello, welcome. This video is about how to solve a system of equations using row reduction of a matrix. And to do that, our goal is to get what's called the identity matrix 1, 0, 0, 1. So the ones in the diagonal here, like this here, these in the diagonal, and then zeros on the other diagonal. And then the third column will be some numbers, and they will be your x and y values. The top one will be your x, and the bottom one will be your y, and that'll give you your solution. So this is our goal. By the way, sometimes when you have an augmented matrix, sometimes you'll see a line drawn where the equal sign would go. So for this, you can do a number of different things. There are a number of legal operations. You can take the rows and you can switch them. Switch row 1, switch row 2. You can multiply a row and add it to another one, or you can just add the row to the other row. And or you can divide a row. You can take a row and multiply it by any non-zero number, or divide it by any non-zero number. And so you're going to do all of those kinds of things to get this. And so let's try that. First thing we want to do is make the augmented matrix. The coefficient of x is 1, then we've got 2, and then we have negative 12. And then down on the bottom row, we've got 2 and 5 and negative 31. And that is our augmented matrix. Now, we kind of like that there's already a 1 in that space right there. So it wouldn't make any sense to switch rows. We're going to keep that 1 there. But I want to make this 2, a 0. Generally speaking, it's kind of a good idea to go start up here, get that to be a 1. In this case, it already is a 1. And then go down, make that a 0, and then make that a 1, and then come back up here and make that a 0. So if you work kind of in that direction, that's a good way. That's a good strategy. So we're going to do that. There we go, 5 even. I'm going to take this first row and make it the opposite of that 2, so that when I add it, it'll eliminate that 2, making a 0. And I would do that by multiplying 1 by negative 2. And to keep track of kind of what we're doing, I want you to label this. So this is negative 2 times, we'll call the top one, this is row 1, and this is row 2. So we're going to take the top one, row 2 times row 1, and we're going to add it to row 2. And that, it's also a good idea to kind of multiply. So I'm going to take 1 times negative 2. I'm just going to write it right here, just a little footnote here. 1 times negative 2, negative 2. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And negative 12 times negative 2 would be a positive 24. And then I can just add those. So the top row, it's still the same. It's still the same, even though we're multiplying the bottom and adding it to the 2. We're going to leave that top row as 1, 2, negative 12. But the bottom row is that 2 minus 2, that would be 0. 5 minus 4 is 1. Negative 31 plus 24 would be negative 7. And we close that up. Now, we've got the 1, we've got the 0, we've got the 1. Now we want this 2 right here to be 0. And so I think, what would I multiply by 1, this 1 here? What would I multiply by this 1 to make it the opposite of this 2? And the same thing applies as in that other example. We're going to multiply it by negative 2. So up here I'm going to have negative 2 times row 2 and add it to row 1. That's what I'm doing. And I'm going to keep track. 0 times negative 2 would still be 0. still be 0. 1 times negative 2, and negative 7 times negative 2 would be a positive 14. And then I can just write now, 1 plus 0 is 1, and 2 minus 2 is 0, and negative 12 plus 14 would be 2. And then down on the bottom, we still have 0, 1, and negative 7. Then we can close that up, and really right here, this was our goal, and that's what we have now. We have 1, 1 here, 0, 0, and then so our solution is 2, negative 7. So we just need to kind of write that out here, 2, comma, negative 7. And that value for x and that value for y should work in both of these equations. And so that could be the check, is you put 2 in here for x, here and here, and then you put negative 7 in here for y. And on this side, they should be equal to negative 12 on the top, and they should be equal to negative 31 on this equation in the bottom.